How did the superhero dictionary know it was going to defeat the villains? Because it had the last word. Welcome to Lassoed Loot Volume 296. Today's video has a slab, childhood memories, original art, posters, and more. There's a lot of really good things we're going to share, and I'm happy that you're here for it. This is your official welcome. Before I begin, I think it's time I come clean about something that I haven't shared at all. I've been holding in a secret regarding my collection, and soon that secret needs to be told. It's something I've been in the process of still grasping and coming to terms with. I haven't told any of my Fanboys Live and the Retro Review co-hosts or any of our recent guests. I haven't told John or Thomas or Cookie or Matt or anyone else that I communicate with on such a regular basis. No one knows. But by saying this now, I'm taking the first step in putting accountability on myself to share this with you, because the time to share this is coming, and it's coming soon. Lassoed Loot Volume 300. It's Make Mine Marvel time to start out today's Lassoed Loot video. I want to show you 3 Daredevil back issues that I've recently added into my collection. Daredevil Volume 1, Issue 93 was published in 1972, and it has a great creative team associated with it. Gil Kane is doing the cover, Jerry Conway was the writer, and Gene Colan the interior artist. This issue had me hooked from the very beginning because Daredevil is outside. They're living in California at the time when he's attacked, and his senses go up but not in enough time to help save him. He initially realizes that it's a female that's attacking him, and then comes to find out that it's Black Widow. Of course, she's under some sort of mind control. He's able to knock her out, and then he takes her back to their home. And as he's trying to get information on what could have caused her to get mind controlled, she wakes up and they start battling again. Just a really, really good story. One of our big bad villains for this issue is the Indestructible Man. And in this issue, he has fulfilled his life dream of knowing that he can survive a nuclear holocaust. Good comic book. I'm loving this era of Daredevil, the ones where Black Widow is a guest star, then becomes an eventual co-headliner on the title with DD. The next one up is issue 108 from 1973. John Romita is doing the cover for this issue. Steve Gerber is the writer, and William Robert Brown does the interior art. One thing that either I didn't know or I had forgotten was Daredevil and Moondragon. They were kind of like had feelings for each other. So Moondragon had been in the issues prior to this. This issue takes place around Christmas time. And she had been in the issues prior to this, even living with Black Widow and Daredevil. And it was causing like a love triangle that's going on. So finally, DD opens up and confesses to her. He's like, hey, I'm with Natasha, but I kind of have feelings for you. And she's kind of like, I have interest in you as well, but I am going to be leaving the planet. So that's kind of puts a kibosh to that and an end to that. So in this issue, Matt is traveling from California, where he and Natasha are living, back to New York, where he goes to see Foggy Nelson, and he learns that he was shot for getting too close to information from a local gang group in New York, and they're being manipulated by a group called the Black Spear. So that's the general gist of this, as he's trying to gather information back in New York City on what happened to his friend. I have several issues of the Daredevil Black Widow early Bronze Age that I just bought them just to see if I would like them, and I like them so much that I'm trying to complete that entire run. And one more that I ended up picking up, this is towards the end of when Daredevil and Black Widow were together as a couple, and you can tell that the relationship is falling apart based on some relationship cracks that they talk about in the dialogue to this issue. This is number 122 from 1975. It's Gil Kane cover once again. Tony Isabella is the writer, and William Robert Brown still the interior artist. This story is called Hydra and Seek. I like that title. So Foggy's been captured by Hydra, and Daredevil and Black Widow are combing the city trying to find him. Daredevil is doused with dried blood to make him a target for this gigantic bat that's after him. Makes him bigger bat bait, I guess you could say. Good fun issue too. I want to thank my friend Luke. He had duplicates of these in his collection and sold them to me, and I'm happy with the condition they're in, and to have more Daredevil comic books in my collection. So thank you very much, Luke. I truly appreciate it. Knocking some more off of the need and want list. Let's share that slab that I've recently added into my collection. DC Special Blue Ribbon Digest number 3 was published originally in 1980. This is an upgrade for me. Now, recently I did a whole video of recent upgrades that I put into my collection. Books that were so good, I got them again. That was in Lassoed Loot, volume 290. My original copy of this, which I bought off of the spinner rack, it had a lot of markings of a young Magic Lasso, and I do mean markings, like some marker and some coloring and stuff. So I needed to upgrade this because this book does bring back nice memories for me. It's a reprint issue for the most part. It reprints All-Star Comics issue 36. That was originally published in 1947 with a Win Mortimer cover. You might remember they took that same image from that All-Star Comics 36 and made an ornament of it last year. Hallmark did. I shared that in Comic Book Editions volume 270. This is actually the first published adventures of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman working together. And they did a sequel to this story in the first storyline of the 80s comic book Infinity Inc., otherwise known as the Generation Saga, which is a fantastic read, the first 10 issues of that. So a reprint of that Golden Age is included in here. Plus we get reprints of All-Star Comics issues 58 and 59, both published in 1976, so about 4 years before this digest came out. The first one, 58, was the introduction of Power Girl, her first appearance, in a story written by Jerry Conway, with Rick Estrada doing the interior art. Then we also get a reprint of First Issue Special number 9, published in 1975, which is a Dr. Fate solo series. So you're getting a lot of the great JSA together. You get a nice back cover as well that I seem to enjoy. I found this when I was shopping around. This is a book, like I said, I've known for a while I wanted to upgrade. And I was shopping around and I found this slabbed in a 9.0 CGC. You can tell by the label that it's an earlier CGC slab. And I got it for $20. I would have bought it for $20 raw, let alone graded, because you can't end up buying this graded or send it in and submit it to get graded for the cost of $20. So I definitely think I scored with this. Too good to pass up. And it even got my heart beating faster when I saw what a good deal I was about to get on this purchase. And more childhood memories come up in the Super Dictionary. Wow, 1978. Joe Kubert did the cover. I remember, in addition to all of the memories I have with this title, I have some trauma associated with this title. And I'll kind of skip the trauma because I can't think of a good way to really present that. But I'll say after the trauma was the first time I discovered the existence of this book at a Walden bookstore. And of course it was $10, which was a big ticket item back in those days. I didn't get the book at the time, and I threw a mega fit inside of Walden Books as a young Magic Lasso. I eventually did end up getting the book, and now I have an upgraded, nicer copy than my original copy, thanks to a $25 eBay credit that I had from a purchase that I made, and there was a promotion attached to it. So I ended up being able to get $25 off of a $50 purchase, which knocked this price down a lot. It seems to have the characters acting out the words and their definitions in bizarre and quite out of character ways. For example, like for the definition of the word, I think it's push. It's either push or shove, but I think it's push. It has Batman pushing a little kid out of the way. Like, why would he do that? This book is definitely known for the viral meme of Lex Luthor stealing 40 cakes. If you've ever seen that online, that's where this comes from. They have a couple original characters that they introduced for this Super Dictionary. Craig McCracken, one of the creators of the Powerpuff Girls, has said that Mojo Jojo, one of the villains from that show, was partly based and inspired from this book, namely his tendency to repeat himself in strange ways. That was an influence from this super dictionary. Looking through this, it brought back so many great memories, though, because the artwork, for the most part, is original. There's a few things that I can look at and say, oh yeah, I know where they lifted that or recycled that image from to use for this. But there's so much good and fun stuff. And like I said, even though there's a little bit of trauma associated with it, the good outweighs the bad. So to have a nicer copy of this makes me happy. And I do like the back, where we kind of see like what's going on in the back of the actual cover. So that's pretty cool. I know some people have criticized Joe Kubert and saying that some of his artwork on the cover and inside this book was on the lazier side. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that or not. I just know that having this in my collection was a huge deal for me as a young Magic Lasso. And now having a nicer copy, I mean, considering how old this book is, to have one in this sort of shape, I look at it as a plus. And I'm happy to have it back into the collection upgraded. Okay, up next, this literally blows my mind. You might not realize what you're looking at, but it's George Perez original art. From Crisis on Infinite Earths, issue number 9, page number 2, it's a sunburst overlay. So this was hand-drawn by George, and it's almost on like transparent frosted type paper. If you look at the original panel, which I put on the screen for you, you can see what it ended up looking like. So this was an overlay, a stat. I can't believe, and technically it is George Perez original art. Yes, it would be better if it had a character on it, but it doesn't, and that's okay. But it is from Crisis on Infinite Earths, one of the biggest things he's ever been associated with. And now I have part of that production here in my original art library. I'm floored. Thank you, James, for giving this piece to me. I was shocked when he did, and I'm like, you sure you want to do that? And he's like, yeah, you should have it. I had the chance to meet George Perez. It was an amazing experience. Everyone who really met this guy had fantastic, wonderful interactions with him. I was no exception. I waited in line almost 4 hours. It was like 3 hours and 50 minutes before it was my turn to meet him. And he treated me so well and just made such a lasting impression on me. I'm super stoked to have this, even though I don't have the page that goes underneath it, but just to have anything associated with the master George Perez, to me, is a huge treat. Hey, before I go on, since we're talking DC Comics, I want to remind you about the greatest DC Comics show on YouTube, Fanboys Live in the Retro Review. This upcoming Sunday, our special scheduled guest is Super Russ 9000. So tune in to see what books Super Russ has picked out for us to review on the Retro Review. It's 8:15 p.m. Eastern, 7:15 p.m. Central here on my YouTube channel, and it would be great to have you there. Don't forget, this upcoming weekend, Saturday, I believe, August 8th, is the final day for nominations in round 1 of the Comic Book Community Awards. And we would love Fanboys Live in the Retro Review to get nominated for Best Live Stream. Also, I would love if you would nominate Silver-Haired Bronze Age Babe for Best Facial Hair in the category of Best Personal or Individual Trademark. I think that would be a hoot to get her to be a finalist. You have to have the most votes in this time period to end up as a top 5 finalist. So that's why we're really pushing for Fanboys Live for Best Live Stream and Silver-Haired Bronze Age Babe for Best Beard in the Comic Book Community Awards. But if you do want to nominate my Lassoed Loot series of videos or my Back Issue of the Week YouTube short, you're more than welcome to do that as well, and it is appreciated, or anything else in another category that you think I am worthy of. Thanks for your consideration. Just make sure to have those in by this Saturday, August 8th, I believe, is the cutoff for round number 1. Then we'll keep our fingers crossed that we become a top 5 finalist. But how cool, George Perez original artwork, a production piece from Crisis on Infinite Earths, something I never thought I would have or be part of my collection. It's poster time. Poster Palooza begins right now in this Lassoed Loot portion of volume 296. I don't really have enough room to open these up fully, but you're just going to have to take my word from what you can see that the posters are what I'm claiming. I've been showing posters a lot in the last few weeks. Last week I showed some Spider-Man posters that were recently added into my collection. And then the week before that, I had a Crisis on Infinite Earths poster that I just loved. That was kind of rare. That was added into my collection. And I have some more folded promo posters from throughout the years. And we're getting started today with the DC Dreamgirls A Pride Event promo poster from earlier this year. It has some awesome Phil Jimenez artwork. I love Phil Jimenez Wonder Woman, and even on this poster, I thought he just drew her spectacular. And I'm like, yep, I like the way that Wonder Woman looks. So I would be cool being able to add this poster into my collection. And then we follow it up. Did you pick up the Batman Superman one-shot from back in May? It was called The Truth. Oh, that book was so good. Essentially, it takes place right after the events of Hush, back in the 90s, Batman's Hush. And Batman needs to borrow the golden lasso, and he does, and the lasso gets stolen. So Batman and Wonder Woman team up together to recover the lasso. Really good book. I actually wish it wasn't a one-shot, because it would have been so good to have more issues of that as like a limited series or so. But this is the promo poster that shows the Jim Lee artwork for that main A cover that he did. So I also picked up in my personal collection the foil version of this, which is sharp as can be. And I will say, you know, I wouldn't mind getting some posters autographed sometime in the future, and this would be a contender to have a nice Jim Lee signature on. I think that would look awesome. I love a really big, bold signature, though, since the posters are so big. These are like 24 by 36. You know I like my Justice League, and here we have the Justice League Unlimited poster that showcases the cover artwork from issue 1. This is volume 2, all in, from 2025. I have two or three, I think, issues from that. I have issue number 3. I have issue number 5, which is signed by Jenny Frison. I have the nice Wonder Woman variant they did for Women's History Month. Then I have issue number 17, which I think is that corner box art by Dan Mora, which I like that a lot too. So it's a series that, in all honesty, I should probably fill in the missing back issues and just pick it up going forward, because I think I would enjoy it enough to do so. You know, I completed my Justice League of America Volume 1 run last year, so maybe this is some more Justice League that I can keep in my collection. What did you think of DC's Future State? Remember Future State back in 2020? Well, that was going to be the big thing for a while. Here's a promo poster with Dan Mora artwork that promotes that. For me, there was one Future State title that I really got into, and that was Future State Justice League. So in that story, the Legion of Doom are dead, and the Justice League is investigating what caused this. And I thought for the 2 issues that they put out for that, it was really interesting, and something that was about the only one that really grabbed me and hooked me. Some were okay. Most of them just weren't my cup of tea, but the Justice League one I liked a lot. Of course, we have Yara Flor represented on this poster, and Yara Flor is part of my back issue of the week. Short dropped yesterday. Her Wonder Girl series, issue number 1. I even show you a couple variant covers from this series as well. So if you haven't checked out that short yet, give some support to my back issue of the week, starring Yara Flor. Do you like red? Ooh, we got lots of red going on this cover, don't we? So Dark Knight's Death Metal. This is from 2020. I'm going to say that originally I never thought that this would be a series that I would get so into or so invested with. I didn't really think it was my cup of tea. But I ended up, through whatever means, getting a few issues, and I liked them so much that I ended up filling in and getting more issues too. This poster is obviously Wonder Woman centric. It's a nice little art germ artwork that was used as a variant cover for Dark Knight's Death Metal. And I'm glad that they did a promo poster of it too. Because when you need a splash of red, and every room they say needs a splash of red, there's some good stuff here to choose from for me. And yes, I do plan in the future to have some rotating posters coming in and out, which is another reason why you've been seeing a lot of posters. I'm thinking ahead to the future. This one maybe was a little surprising for me to pick up. It's DC's Rock the Vote poster from 2020. And yes, everyone should vote. Exercise your freedom and vote. If you're not voting, can't really say and complain about the things you don't like in the government system if you're not voting. So just not telling you who to vote for, I'm just saying vote in general. And that's kind of what this poster is doing. It's giving a little bit of history of voting throughout the United States. And I like how they tied in a little bit because of Themyscira, you know, that obviously they have a queen and there isn't voting, and that kind of gets represented here on this poster as well. It's just a fun little piece that, you know, isn't really tied to a comic book or anything, and I thought would be fun to have in my collection. And then one more to wrap it up. I think I might have this poster already, but doesn't hurt to have a second one, especially since I would like, as I said, maybe to get some of these posters signed sometimes. I think a Joelle Jones signature would be amazing on this Wonder Woman 750 promo poster. So Wonder Woman issue 750 had the most variants of any Wonder Woman comic book ever. And I've showcased those in a previous video here on my Magic Lasso YouTube channel. And I have every single one of those variants. It's like 53, I think, something like that. So a nice promo poster that showcases the A cover from that anniversary issue, spotlighted here in promo poster form. So that's a palooza of posters to share with you to wrap up Lassoed Loot Volume 296. What item that I shared in today's video was your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. Your comments are welcomed, encouraged, and appreciated. I love seeing what you have to say. If you're not subscribed to the channel, it's a great way to show support to my channel. If you are subscribed, thank you for coming back and watching and making it all the way to the end, because I appreciate that. The algorithm loves it if you give this video a thumbs up, a heart, and a like. Thank you so much for your continued support of my channel. There's nothing but good things coming up. I think we did pretty good in today's video, though, with original artwork, a slab, shared some stories from the past with you, and some comic books and posters. Make sure to join me for Fanboys Live in the Retro Review with Super Russ 9000 this upcoming Sunday. Back issue of the week dropped yesterday. There'll be another one next week. And in the meantime, I guess I'll catch you on Fanboys this weekend, and of course our next Lassoed Loot next week. This wraps up Lassoed Loot Volume 296, where great treasures easily get caught. Thanks for watching.